It is said 70% of South Africa's water goes to agricultural use. This, as water scarcity, is a topic constantly on our lips these days. Now, with climate change and water levels dropping, will water restrictions be our only saving grace, or should we look for other solutions? Well, I'm joined this evening by Jacques de Villiers. He's Omnia Fertilizer SA MD. He's going to talk to us more about new innovations that we should be looking into. Jacques, good evening, and thanks for your time. So we're talking fertilizer and water. What are the solutions that you might hold for us when it comes to navigating this water crisis?
Good evening, Vika. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think what we must be aware of, and if your weekend was anything like mine after the rugby on Saturday, around the braai, everybody was talking about the late rains and what that does to environment and farmers. South Africa is a semi-arid country, so water is a scarce resource. And what we need to know is that the water that's used in crop production actually influences the production of the crops. And with the late rains and the low levels in dam levels, we do see that the production is under duress. If we cannot produce all the crops and the food that we need for the country, we will obviously have to import, and that will have an influence on the country. So we at Omnia have been working with farmers for 75 years, 65 years plus. To work with them to understand their challenges that they have on a daily basis. And one of the main ones we look at is water use efficiency. That is how we can enable the crop to use the water that's available to produce a better crop.
Okay, so I suppose the golden question is, how do we do that? What is the secret? Because it can't be a very simple one.
I think we've spent a lot of time to understand the situation. What we believe in Omnia is a holistic approach. So to look at all the different farming practices. A lot of the farmers in South Africa are quite modern. So what we look at all the different areas of the crop. So we look at the soil, we look at the physicality, the nutrients, as well as the moisture. And then what we've also started in the last couple of years is to look at biology. So how do we use what we've got, the resources we've got, to actually help the plant to utilize it the best?
Give us some examples.
One of the innovations that we've come up with is OFOS, which is an irrigation and fertigation system. So using science and data, we actually figure out when the plant needs how much water and what nutrients. And we give it at exactly the right time and the right quantity to make sure everything we actually, with the scarce resource we do have, everything we give to the plant, it actually uses to produce, so it doesn't get lost to the system.
So our water crisis, Jacques, at the moment, I mean, at the level we are at now of crisis when it comes to lack of rain and all of that, are these solutions going to be that simple? Can we still use what you're telling us with where we are now, or is it too late for us?
I think what we found over many years, even with the droughts that we've had, and we've had really bad droughts over the last 7 years, we have seen that improving the nutrient use efficiency and the water use efficiency, we can actually de-risk the farmers his business and also help him to be more sustainable. So the rain is late, but we've seen that over the last couple of years, and farmers have adjusted to that. So we are ready, and I think the fertilizer industry is ready, so that when the rain started falling over the weekend, we are actually delivering, and the farmers will plant. And with the new technology and with the help of some specialized products, we can help them to actually still be successful.
Would this be any crop? Would this be all things that can be planted, or does this apply to specific things that you can put into the ground?
This is applied to all crops. Obviously, it's different for different crops. So whether it's irrigation, rain-fed, grains, permanent crops. So we play in all the different spaces. And it's a bit different what you do in the different areas. And what you apply to the different crops is important. So what we've also done, we've got a large team of agronomists and agronomical scientists that actually go out and see once the crop's actually growing to see that it's healthy and if there's anything we should be nervous about. For that, we also use satellite. We use satellite imagery so we can actually see in vast areas if there's anything to be concerned about, and we can go to the farmers and say, we have to look here, what can we do to remedy the situation?
And I suppose the big question, Jacques, will be cost as well for a lot of these farmers. Is this a very expensive, costly business?
Fertilizer is a big part of the inputs that farmers have. That's why the nutrient use efficiency is so important, so that whatever you put into the soil and what you've paid for, you must make available to the plant to actually produce a crop. In the end, everybody together wants to make sure that the farmer is successful and that the agriculture sector in South Africa is successful. Okay, well, good luck to the farmers out there, those who are able to get their hands on this kind of technology. Thank you very much for your time. That's Jacques de Villiers from Omnia Fertilizer SA. Some solutions.